Imagine a world where every heartbeat, every glance, every whispered promise carried the weight of survival. Picture yourself standing on a windswept plain 120,000 years ago, where the air smells of earth and danger. Your partner stands beside you, scanning the horizon for predators, their hand gripping a flint-tipped spear. This isn't just a romantic moment. It's a pact forged in fire, a bond that could mean the difference between life and death. Welcome to the Stone Age, where love wasn't just a feeling, it was a strategy, a necessity, a shield against a brutal world. In this video, we're diving into the raw, untamed heart of prehistoric relationships, how they shaped survival, sparked deadly conflicts, and laid the foundation for the emotions we feel today. Stick with me, because this journey through the Stone Age will change how you see love forever. Let's set the scene. It's the Paleolithic era, a time when humans lived in small bands, roaming vast landscapes filled with saber-toothed cats, woolly mammoths, and relentless seasons. Survival wasn't guaranteed. Every day was a gamble against starvation, disease, and attack. In this world, going it alone was a death sentence. You needed someone you could trust with your life. That's where relationships came in. These weren't the candle-lit dinners or dating apps of today. Stone Age partnerships were survival contracts, sealed not with a kiss, but with shared burdens. Archaeological evidence paints a vivid picture. By 120,000 years ago, humans were burying their dead in meaningful ways, often in places they called home: caves, hearths, familiar grounds. These weren't random graves. They were deliberate, emotional acts, showing that the people we loved were more than bodies to discard. Take the Manua couple, found in a Neolithic grave, their skeletons locked in an eternal embrace. This wasn't just a burial, it was a testament to a bond so strong it transcended death. My take? This shows us that love in the Stone Age wasn't fleeting. It was a lifeline, a commitment that held communities together. But why were these bonds so critical? Let's break it down. In a world without grocery stores or hospitals, every task, finding food, raising children, fending off threats, required teamwork. Men and women didn't just fall in love, they specialized. Women often mastered the art of foraging, knowing which berries were safe, which roots could sustain a family through winter. Men honed skills in hunting and tool making, crafting spears that could pierce a boar's hide. Together, they were unstoppable. Alone, they were vulnerable, exposed to a world that didn't forgive mistakes. Here's where it gets real. Ethnographic studies of modern hunter-gatherer societies, like the Hadza in Tanzania, show that single-parent families face child mortality rates 3 times higher than dual-parent ones. Imagine being a Stone Age parent, knowing that losing your partner could doom your children. That's not drama, that's math. Every decision to pair up, to trust, to love, was a calculation with life or death stakes. My analysis? This wasn't just about romance, it was about building a unit stronger than the sum of its parts, a unit that could face down a world that wanted to kill you. Let's zoom in on a typical Stone Age day. Dawn breaks over a rocky valley. A woman kneels by a stream, her fingers deftly sorting through plants, identifying edible tubers by touch. Her partner, a man, crouches nearby, sharpening a flint blade, his eyes scanning for signs of danger. They don't speak much, words aren't always needed. Their survival depends on an unspoken rhythm, a division of labor honed over years. Women in the Stone Age were often the keepers of botanical knowledge. They knew where to find wild grains, when berries ripened, how to process toxic plants into safe food. This wasn't just gathering, it was expertise, built over decades. Men, meanwhile, took on roles like hunting and territorial defense. Tracking a deer through dense forest or fending off rival groups required skills that took a lifetime to master. Lose your partner, and you lost half your knowledge base. It's like trying to run a spaceship with half the crew missing. Here's my commentary. This specialization wasn't just practical, it was intimate. Imagine the trust required to rely on someone else for your next meal, your safety, your children's future. Every successful hunt, every basket of foraged roots, was a love letter written in action. These partnerships weren't about candlelit vibes, they were about mutual dependence, about knowing your partner had your back when a wolf's howl broke the night. But it wasn't just about food. Raising children in the Stone Age was a marathon. Human infants needed years of care, about 4 years before they could walk long distances or help gather food. Nursing mothers required extra calories, protection, and help with childcare. A single parent trying to do it all, the odds were brutal. Modern studies of hunter-gatherers show that without a partner's support, children often didn't survive. In the Stone Age, love wasn't just a feeling, it was a survival strategy for the next generation. Now, let's talk about vulnerability. The Stone Age wasn't kind to the weak. A sprained ankle, a fever, a cut that got infected, these could kill you. Without a partner, a minor injury was a death sentence. Imagine lying in a cave, shivering with fever, unable to hunt or gather. Your partner brings you water, shares their food, keeps predators at bay. That's not just care, that's survival. Archaeological evidence backs this up. Skeletons from the Paleolithic show healed fractures, signs that someone cared for the injured long enough for bones to mend. Without a devoted partner, those bones wouldn't have healed, they'd be scattered by scavengers. My insight, this care wasn't just practical, it was emotional. It required sacrifice, patience, and a bond deeper than convenience. When you nursed your partner back to health, you weren't just saving them, you were saving yourself, your children, your future. But it wasn't just about physical care. Partnerships were also social contracts. Stone Age groups were territorial, fiercely guarding hunting grounds and resource patches. When you paired up, you didn't just gain a partner, you gained their family, their allies, their territory. Marriages were diplomatic tools, forging peace between rival bands, securing access to rivers or flint deposits. My take? These weren't just love stories. They were geopolitical strategies, binding groups together in a world where conflict meant extinction. But love in the Stone Age wasn't all hearths and harmony. It had a dark side, one that could tear communities apart. Jealousy, betrayal, infidelity. These weren't just emotional wounds. They were existential threats. When a partner strayed, it wasn't just a broken heart at stake. It was your food supply, your protection, your social standing. Let's paint a picture. A man abandons his partner for someone from a rival group. Suddenly, the abandoned woman is alone, struggling to feed her children, vulnerable to attack. Her family's alliances weaken. Her access to resources shrinks. In a small band of 30 people, one betrayal could ripple outward, destabilizing everyone. Archaeological sites across Europe show massacres, piles of skeletons with crushed skulls, arrowheads embedded in bones. Anthropologists believe many of these conflicts started over romantic disputes or broken marriage alliances. Here's my analysis. Jealousy in the Stone Age wasn't just an emotion, it was a survival alarm. When you felt that burning rage, it was your brain screaming that your life, your children's lives, were at risk. There were no courts, no mediators, no divorce lawyers. If you were wronged, you had two choices: confront or retaliate. And in a world where survival hung by a thread, those confrontations could turn deadly. Ethnographic studies of modern hunter-gatherers give us a glimpse of this. Among the Kung people of the Kalahari, romantic disputes have sparked violence that wiped out entire families. In a band of 50 people, losing even one hunter or gatherer could tip the balance towards starvation. My commentary? These weren't just lovers' quarrels. They were crises that threatened the group's survival. Stone Age jealousy was a force of nature, as dangerous as any predator. Despite the violence, something beautiful emerges from the Stone Age. These people weren't just surviving, they were feeling deeply. Burial sites tell us they mourned their dead, not just as losses, but as irreplaceable individuals. The Neanderthal child in Deria Cave, Syria, was buried with care, covered gently in earth, left undisturbed. The Manua couple, locked in their embrace, shows a love that endured beyond death. These rituals required emotional intelligence. Stone Age people didn't just bury bodies. They held ceremonies, processed grief, honored memories. They used red ochre to paint their bodies, signaling identity and status. They cared for the elderly and disabled, sometimes for decades, showing compassion that rivaled modern societies. My insight? These weren't grunting brutes. They were humans, wrestling with the same emotions we feel: love, loss, hope, fear, in a world that amplified every feeling into a matter of survival. Hearths were the heart of this emotional world. Picture a firelit cave, shadows dancing on the walls, as a band gathers to share stories, laugh, argue. These weren't just campfires, they were the Stone Age equivalent of a family dinner table, where emotions were processed, relationships strengthened. My take? These moments of connection were as vital as food or shelter. They built trust, healed wounds, and reminded everyone they weren't alone. To make this vivid, let's explore some real-life examples drawn from the archaeological record and modern analogies. First, consider the Shanidar Cave in Iraq, where a Neanderthal man, dubbed Shanidar I, was found with a crushed skull and a partially paralyzed arm. He lived for years with these injuries, meaning someone, likely a partner or family, fed him, protected him, cared for him. This wasn't just survival, it was love etched in bone. Then there's the Sungir burial in Russia from 34,000 years ago. Two children were buried with thousands of ivory beads, fox teeth, and carved pendants. Crafting these items took months, maybe years. Their community poured resources into honoring these children, showing a depth of grief and attachment we can all relate to. My commentary: imagine the parents sitting by the fire, carving those beads, their hearts heavy with loss. That's a human story, as real today as it was then. From modern hunter-gatherers, we see similar patterns. Among the Hadza, a woman named Nasirian lost her husband to a hunting accident. Without his support, she struggled to feed her children, relying on her band's help to survive. Her story echoes the Stone Age, where a partner's loss could unravel everything. My analysis? These stories remind us that love wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity, woven into the fabric of survival. So what does this all mean for us today? Stone Age relationships teach us that love has always been more than a feeling. It's a force that shapes societies, drives survival, and binds us across millennia. When you feel jealousy, you're tapping into an ancient instinct, one that once protected your ancestors' lives. When you care for someone, you're echoing the same devotion that kept a Neanderthal alive through a broken leg. My final insight: the Stone Age shows us that relationships are hardwired into our survival. Today, we don't face saber-toothed cats, but we still need connection, to feel seen, to feel safe, to feel human. The next time you hold someone's hand or share a quiet moment, remember, you're part of a 120,000-year-old story, one that started around a fire, in a world where love was the ultimate survival tool. Here's the lesson. Love is our oldest strength. In the Stone Age, it built partnerships that conquered hunger, fear, and death. Today, it's still our greatest asset. Build relationships that matter, ones that lift you up, that make you stronger together than alone. Because in any age, Stone Age or modern, love is what keeps us alive. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the heart of the Stone Age. If this resonated with you, hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe for more dives into the human story. Let's keep exploring what makes us human, one firelit tale at a time.